Hello. There should be absolutely no one here watching this at this moment. So I'm talking to a camera just into the void, just like it used to be back 4 weeks ago when I started my channel. I am just dropping in to say hi, live streaming impromptu, because I am at Sony Kando. You see this? Sony Kando Trip. There are still 0 viewers. I am talking away to myself. But here's the thing, I don't mind. This is how I spend most of my life. If the camera's off, then I just talk anyway. So here I am. I have one viewer. Oh, and a thumbs up. Who is my one viewer on my impromptu screen? Right here. Hello, Tariq. Hello. It's just me and you, buddy. It is just me and you. I'm at Sony Kando. See that? So I jumped on for a live stream because I am supposed to be out there working, schmoozing, talking to other creators, filming things, getting epic footage. But I am what you call a social introvert. Is that a nice way of saying social anxiety? I'm fine, guys. It's just I prefer kind of working than going out and making friends, because I have enough friends. I'm 46 years old. I don't need any damn friends. And let me tell you something here. This is quite the setup here. I didn't expect the hotel. Sorry if there's a mic delay. I couldn't quite get the delay right. This isn't my particular, my usual setup. My home does often look like this, with fancy doors and lights in the background, but this is not my home. So I am, what's my streaming setup? So it should be on the screen. I'm using the ZVE one with the 16 to 25, but I'm just going straight in USB-C right into Ecamm Live. And oh, look at this. Oh, sorry, James. It didn't, here actually, there was a delay on showing, so it looked like it was 0 for a while. So there I was talking sad, pitying myself, when in fact there was probably about 20 people on at the time. And it's a surprising amount of people. So we got like 41 people. What are you guys doing? You're just sitting around waiting for the next Mark Bennett live stream. I don't blame you, because I am an inspiration. That's what people say about me and Peter McKinnon. We are inspirations. And if you're joining me like now, what are we? With 2 minutes in, I will once again show my Sony Kando Santa Barbara. You see that? Santa Barbara. I'm in Santa Barbara, and it is nice here. Nicer than Toronto, but Toronto's pretty good this time of year. But this is nicer. There's a pool that I certainly won't be going into. I don't need to show off the dad bod. Can't have all the ladies going crazy here at Sony Kando. It's actually, I'm right next to the pool, and I just went down to check things out, and all of the Sony people are running around with like gigantic lenses and cameras, and they're all like, they're trying to get shots, for their reels or whatever they're doing. People who do actual work instead of sitting in their hotel room talking to a camera. And there's these regular people who are staying here as well. And this is an expensive hotel, so they paid a pretty penny to be here. And so they're trying to swim around the pool, and people with giant lenses, and it's gotta be freaking them out. I know I'm not getting in the pool with all these lenses around here. I'll tell you that much. So, oh, let's see. Oh, look at Barry Johnson. Hey, man, Barry's always, even if I stream at, what time is it? 6:30 back home? Yeah, there's Barry Johnson right there. Where's my wife, man? I'll tell you what, I'm in Santa Barbara, What happens in Santa Barbara isn't very much. My wife is at home with the kids. I told her that she couldn't come to this because I thought the hotel was reserved. Turns out that was incorrect. There are regular people here, but it's too expensive. I wouldn't have paid for her and my children to stay here. And what's this? Oops, I lost a comment. I had one up about the FX Mark II. Let's see. I hope they will announce an FX6 Mark II so I can afford an FX6 with a discount. Yeah, that'd be nice. I have no idea what they're going to announce tomorrow. So we will see. I mean, you'll see. You'll see. I put it this way. I don't know everything about everything, but we only have to wait a short while, me included, to figure out what's going on. You were about to go to sleep. It is 0:33 here. What is it? Is that army time? It's so it's you were midnight. You can't go to sleep. Joat. I see his comments a lot, but I don't know how to say it. Joat Tech. Are you the goat of tech? The Joat. Is it Okay. Let's just move on. And yeah, so I am here. I was on the plane with a big pile of people. We stopped in Denver, don't know why, and we got a bunch of YouTubers here, like Patrick Tomaso, Gerald Undone, Frono's Photo. He was here. I was gonna go say hi, but I don't know. He looked like he was in a bad mood. I don't think he was. No, he wasn't. I'm too shy. But I'll talk to him. We're off work. Yeah, I suppose so, because back home, yeah, you're look at me, I'm working hard, right? I'm on vacation. Great videos, Mark. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I mean, these are great videos. Look at this. I'm in a hotel room streaming my nonsense about nothing. Look at this. This is my favorite stream that I'm watching right now. Landon, you know you're watching 3 streams right now, so I'll still take that compliment. You know it. Landon is a fantastic guitar. He also has a tech channel, but he's a big time YouTube guitar channel. Go check him out. He was just over in Germany doing things that the Germans do with guitars, which is as weird as you think. Now, let's see. Okay, who have I missed here? Hi there, Mark. Hello. Hello, how are things? So I'm going to be reading the screen over here and occasionally looking back. And I will probably miss all kinds of comments. But you know what, guys? You know what? Where's your shout out? Holla. Holla, Corey. Do you have the last name Holla just to get a shout out every time that people can yell, Corey, holla? Because if so, that's really clever. I enjoy that. Holla. You can't get close enough to Jared Frono's due to the fro anyway. It is true. It is quite the fro. And he's all muscly too. He's got his Frono's Photo workout shirts on. So he's looking good. He's looking good. Oh, look at this. A camera question. How about that? Oh, hello from Malaysia. Not a camera question. I clicked the wrong button. Okay. Which is better, the ZV-E10 II or the Sony a6700? Well, the a6700 is the better camera. It has a mechanical shutter, and it can do everything the ZV-E10 II can do, you know, with the exception of a few vloggy type things. But the a6700, it has 4K 120, mechanical shutter, an electronic viewfinder. It's a more robust camera. It's just Sony's best APS-C hybrid camera. So if the prices are similar, I would always steer someone to the a6700, but the prices are often, depending on where you live, not similar, and you may, if you're just looking for video features, you may be fine with the ZV-E10 Mark II. I have both. I have the a6700 and ZV-E10 Mark II, and I love them very much. But if you just need the video features, ZV-E10 Mark II will cover you for almost everything that you need at a cheaper price. But if someone was to say, hey, they're giving me a camera, which one do I take? Take the a6700 in my humble opinion. And let's see, got 76 people here. That's nice. Probably lost a bunch with my rambling, but that is okay. Learned a lot from my vids. Well, Hustleby, I appreciate that, but I doubt it. I simply doubt that. With the handsome face, you will get all the attention. That's true. I can't go out. I'll just ruin their event. You know, they're trying to promo their cameras. Yeah, they're trying to show their Sony creators, and then they have seminars with like National Geographic people. But this mug shows up, the music stops. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, "Who is that?" You know. And let's say, okay. Followed your advice. Another FX30 is on the way. Oh, yeah, this guy is saying he was going to do a podcast. He had an FX30. He said, do I get a ZV-E10 too? Or do I get an FX30? Are they easier to match? And I'm like, longer form content. You're doing a podcast for a while. Better to have that fan in there. You already know your FX30. You know your lenses. You know your workflow. You just put 2 up. Editing is just a little bit easier. I mean, they're a close match, but still the editing is better. Better to have that fan. Just go. I think that was the right call. Well, that's the one I said, so of course I think it's the right call. Why wouldn't I? Far North guy's gonna leave his wife too. Come on, man. Come on. What's this? A7 V. Oh, that'd be nice, eh? A7 V, if that comes out. Although I have the A7 IV, so you know, part of me would be a little bit like, 'cause that camera's still so fantastic. So part of me would be like, you know what, guys? I just got this A7 IV like 3 years ago. Yeah, that's it. cameras move on, you know, the technology moves on, but I just love that A7 IV so much. It would just, there'd be no real reason for me to sell my A7 IV if an A7 V came out, but I would get that A7 V because I'm insane. And, you know, but still. Okay, I got lost reading some of the comments. Okay. Hey, Mark. Oh, I went back. Tech for your needs. Hello there. Got you guys, this is great. This is, I thought it was going to pop on for like 15 seconds, get humiliated because nobody'd watch. I'd speak into the void, and then I'd shut it down. But this is nice. More people showed up than I expected, and I'm just trying to go back through the comments to see if anybody, Fuchs Technology, you made it to my live. Yes, you did. All it took was for me to be in a different country, in a different time zone. And look at this. How about this? Data LaForge. That's a very fancy name. Says he owned an A6700, returned it for a ZV-E10, and he's really happy about it. See, because guys, it's not always about the specs. It's not always about the most expensive thing. Sometimes it's about the thing that works for you. And the ZV-E10, by the looks of it, the original Data LaForge, is it the original that you're using? Works for him. And that's it. I was just at Gerald Undun's house. I don't know if you guys saw that, but me and Gerald are best friends, like best friends. Like I'm his best friend. I have a lot of best friends, but he's you know, we're friends. And we're like a Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, except I'm kind of both those guys. And I was at his house, and he was saying that he would only use the ZV-E10 and up. Like that's all he would, because he likes that 10-bit color. He likes the new sensors. And a couple of people were like, hey man, Gerald is saying, I think the ZV-E10 original will work just fine. And I think so too. Don't tell my best friend, Gerald Hugh Jackman Undone, that I disagree with him. But just on that particular point, I think what he was trying to say is that if you get a ZV-E10 Mark II, you're set for a long time. You can grow with that camera, whereas a lot of people, when they get an older sensor with, like, say, an 8-bit camera and they want to start shooting log footage and things like that, they tend to want to upgrade quicker. I think that was his point. He was trying to say, spend a little bit more now, you have to spend less later. You know, but the ZV-E10, in my opinion, of course, can still be a fantastic. I think someone just banged on the wall. Let me tell you something, buddy. I am not going to stop this live stream just because you can hear me yelling about cameras. Because not everybody here's a camera person. Did I tell you that? Grim Up North. Hi. Oh yeah. You know what? Barry Johnson is telling people to use an @ if they want to. Oh no, type Q for question. Right. I was supposed to. I don't even listen to my own self. So let's see, Q. Did anyone type Q for question? I typed Q. Instead of the search bar, I put it in the comment section. I am a great professional live streamer. Q for question. Not that that will matter. Okay, so, oh, look at this one. I missed this one, though. Marquise Schumpert. A6700 or ZV-E10 Mark II for live streaming. They're pretty much the same. I found that, like, the overheating tests sometimes, like, they're a bit unreliable. Sometimes the camera will overheat quickly, sometimes it won't. So, but I did find, on average, the ZV-E10 Mark II lasted quite a bit longer than the A6700 if you're streaming USB-C. So I would, for both of them, I would still do what I'm doing right now. I have the ZV-E1, and this thing would normally die after about 27 minutes, but or less. And but I put a little Ulanzi fan, spring-loaded fan. I would get it, but you know, yeah. Hold on. Okay, I've ruined my whole stream. Have I ruined everything? Have I ruined it all? This is my fan, and I'm going to put this back now so my camera doesn't overheat. Okay, and we're back. And I only changed the frame a tiny bit. Okay, let's go back to some questions, guys. The Agile Lean Gardener. Hey, question from the UK. Well, I'm in the United States right now. I'm also United. With Zeiss Batis, ZV-E1 with Zeiss Batis 18 2.8 or the 16 to 25 for vlogging. I'm going 16 to 25 because I bought that one. That's what I bought. That's what I'm using. It's just so versatile, you know. 16, get that wide end, especially ZVE1 that you're talking about. You want that dynamic active stabilization. That's going to punch in a lot. So there you go. A little bit of that airplane gas right there. Gear acquisition syndrome, that is, that I got on the airplane. So let's see. Any more questions? We got, upgrading from a Lumix 85. The better to get the ZV-E10 or ZV-E10 Mark II? Well, I mean, it feels like the easy thing to say is the Mark II, and for video it is. If you're going to say which one without not factoring in price, and you're talking about video, definitely ZV-E10 Mark II. But there is that weird caveat. It's not weird, it's just what they're going to be doing with the ZV line going forward. There's no mechanical shutter. So when you're outdoors, things like that, it shouldn't be much of an issue, but with, you know, LED lighting, flickering at different, you know, rates, you may, and you want to do indoor photography, let's say you're at somebody's wedding or something, you might get banding in your photos with the ZV-E10 Mark II. So if you were saying video, strictly ZV-E10 Mark II. If you want to do photos and video, and you don't plan to color grade much, then you could do the ZV-E10. But if you want to do them all at a high level, once again, you got the A6700 to bail you out there with your photography. Okay, got a question. I'm hesitating between the A6700 and an 18 to 50, that's a Sigma, or an A7C II with and a 24 to 70 Sigma. I can have both of them for similar prices. I want a camera to last a lifetime and enjoy. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go similar prices, good Lord. And then I would do A7C II, do that. I mean, 24, so yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know what's happening there, but that is a good deal. You got not just a full frame camera, you have the A7C II, which is probably Sony's best value full frame camera. That's just an excellent camera, and that can you won't be able, you won't need to get rid of that for decades. I don't know decades, but definitely 10 years. It's got just great 4K, 7K downsampled to 4K, so sharp. I mean, you don't have 4K 120. That's about it. You don't have 2 card slots, and you don't have 4K 120. Other than that, it's a pretty perfect camera, and I think you'd be, yeah, overall, it's full frame, it's fantastic, and if that is the same price as the A6700 and 1850, yeah, that's what I would say, personally. I love the A6700, but that would be my advice right there. It's a good deal. I mean, you see any more of those deals, you send them to me, I'll buy that. Okay. What's the picture profile as a setting to use my videos? Well, usually, right now, I'm just live streaming, so it's picture profile off, and you'll see how good that looks. Looks good. I know the subject is good, but picture profile off is very good. There's people outside my window right now because I'm using the window light, the sunlight, and I'm right on the ground floor here. There's people staring at me. Why, you never seen a guy live stream before in Bermuda shorts? Because I'm wearing, like, Bermuda shorts. Check these out. Look at this. Is that what they're called? Bermuda shorts? I thought I'd go down to the pool, so I waded down there in my flip-flops and these shorts, and then I immediately got self-conscious. It was Matt Johnson's fault. He said, hey, look at this guy in the shorts. That was it for me. I had to run back to the hotel room. Where was I? Right, picture profile settings. So right now, picture profile is off. I think it looks great on the ZV-E1. But in regular life, I usually use S-Log3, and then I grade it with Leeming LUT. And by graded, I mean the Leeming LUT is a corrective LUT. It's not a stylized LUT. It just corrects your colors from being log footage. The logarithmic curve, it just makes it more Rec 709 so that you can edit to your choosing after that. So that is how I do it usually. And if I'm using an 8-bit camera, I usually use the Cine 2 profile and still the Leeming LUT. I used to use HLG a lot, but I just find it's a little more cumbersome of a workflow, and I really, really like the way the Cine 2 profile comes out on the 8-bit cameras. So with 8-bit cameras, instead of HLG, I usually do the Cine 2. But still, Leeming LUT. So leeminglut.com. No, leeminglutpro.com if you want to check it. No affiliation. I don't get any money. I should, though. Paul, right? Just send me a check once in a while, for God's sake. Would that kill you? All right. Melissa, which camera lens would you be out with right now, just for fun? Yes, pick one color of the rainbow. You know what? Probably the A6700 and the Sigma 18 to 50. I am just a big fan of the small form factor, nice and discreet, takes great photos. I love it. Like, I do love taking the full frame cameras around, and I like the images I get when I get home. But boy, it's tell you, it's like my buddy, he needed a headshot yesterday for something he's doing, and I grabbed an A7R5 and the Sony 85 millimeter G Master, and it was so big after our 20-minute shoot. It's like, all right, I got to go in now. My hand is cramping up. And the images came out wonderfully. I mean, I'm an amazing photographer, but I really miss like having that. Like, so when I was in Newfoundland visiting home, I just took the A6700 and some small lens from Yongnuo, I think, and 35 millimeter. I can't remember what it was, but it was just one little lens and the A6700, and it was so great. It was so freeing. But I would have liked to have that versatility of the 18 to 50. It's just I was testing out that lens at the time. But yeah, so Melissa, there you go. That is what I'd say to that. Okay. Hi, I own a ZV E1 and a 24 millimeter G Master. Should I get a 20 or a 15 or 1.8 for streaming? Oh, no. I mean, I think the 24 could be fine for streaming. You just back up a little bit and then you're done. 24, you already got the 24. I wouldn't get the 20, but you know, you could get something like the 14 millimeter, or you could get a third party like Viltrox have a 16 millimeter 1.8. That's a really great lens. So if you wanted a really wide field of view, like right now I'm doing 16 millimeters. Look at this, I'm touching the lens. I'm right in here. So if you wanted that, then you could do that Viltrox 16 1.8. That's really, really great. But I think you're fine if I wouldn't get the 20. I find it, I own the 20. I find I don't use it that much anymore because I either use the 24 or I grab this 16 to 25. I either want wider or 24, you know? So that's what I would say about that. Okay, so all right. Do you think the A7C is a good buy? Used in good condition for $900, or get the ZV-E10 brand new? Ooh, that is tough. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Okay, if you're doing photo and video, again, A7C, full frame sensor with a mechanical shutter. So I think for photos, the A7C is definitely better. But if you're talking video only, that is really tough because the A7C is going to give you a great image, and you can use the Cine 2 profile and stuff like that. But you don't even have 4K 60 on the A7C. So if you want those higher frame rates, 4K 60, 4K, yeah, the 4K 60, I almost said 4K 120, but that's not in ZV-E10 too. So, but you wanted the 4K 60. You also, if you want a 10-bit color, if you want to do a lot of S-Log and you wanted to start to grade that stuff, that is good. But it is, look, it's a good problem to have. I wouldn't complain about either camera. But if you're starting out, if you're not well-versed in color grading, I think the A7C will be better for you because it'll give you more of a wow factor. You get a full frame sensor, maybe get a fast lens. It'll get nice and blurry in the background. The colors still look pretty good. You can still use that Cine 2 profile and use the Leeming LUT, like I said, with that 8-bit camera. Still looks fantastic. And it's $900. You can always sell it later for a different camera if you, have more funds and you want to get, say, the A7C II, something like that. Generally speaking, the lenses will be a bit cheaper for the ZV-E10 II as well, but $900 for an A7C? I don't think I could resist $900 for an A7C. That's what I would say. Because sometimes you'll want to take photos too, and it'll be so good for that. Okay, so look at all these questions. My goodness. And I thought this was going to be a quick stream. At some point, I'm going to have to jump off and then go do Sony things because I'm here. They hold a gun to your head, you know what I mean? They're like, just dance for us. Actually, no. They're really nice, and they don't ask you to do anything. They didn't ask me to make a video. They have no idea I'm doing this live stream, that's for sure. Nor do they care. But they're going to have food at like 5 o'clock. So, and then I also have to have enough time to get lost several times before I find the food. And I'm also going. I think I'm going to try to. I'm sorry about moving the table. It's just on a rickety old table. I'm going to try to interview some of the YouTubers about another question about their setup because people seem to like that at NAB. I forgot to read Oscar's question. Do you? I want to upgrade my A6000. Any recommendations? Photo is main only focus. I don't want to change glass, but higher resolution thoughts from Honduras. A6700. All right. I think, Oscar, I don't think there's any doubt about this. You want to keep your lenses, get the best right there. Getting an A6400 or an A6600, I don't think is a big enough upgrade for photos from the A6000. A6000 still takes good photos. So if you want to see a difference, you'll see it with the A6700, especially the autofocus, bananas. You won't miss any shots. Well, you might miss a couple depending on who you are. I don't miss any shots. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I would say. What's Jenny saying? Is there an alternative program for stabilizing other than Catalyst? For some reason, I can't get the program to work. Thanks so much. Yeah, it's called GyroFlow. Look up GyroFlow, and it's a bit of a learning curve. But GyroFlow, look that up. It's free, and once you get it working, it works really well. Seems to be less hard on the computer as well. Did you notice how fast the autofocus is on 16? I replaced my Sigma 20 and noticed it was way more responsive. Oh yeah, this new Sony, what do they call it? Is it the XD linear motors? Is that what they call it? It's like it rides on rails. It is so bananas fast. It's insanely fast. The new Sony lenses, the Gs and the G Masters are just like, the focus is phenomenal. Okay, let's see. Would the Sigma 23 1.4 be the best lens for APS-C general shooting, landscapes, tight spaces, family portraits, etc.? Well, it's hard to say best for general shooting, but for what you mentioned, tight spaces maybe not, because 23 is like what is that, 12-35, right? Am I doing the math right? Yeah, about 35 millimeter full frame field of view. So you're not going to be able to do really wide things, but you can do family portraits, landscapes. It's not bad. 35 millimeter focal length is not bad. And it's an amazing lens, absolutely amazing. So I think you'll be happy with that lens. There will be times you'll want it wider if you're doing landscapes and tight spaces. And so you can look at the Sigma 16, and that'll be a nice bit wider, but still be quite good. But the 23 is it's an excellent lens, just excellent. Okay, let me just see. Okay. Well, how does full frame versus APS-C low f-stop look compared to one another? Is the same amount of bokeh for both? It really depends. You can make them look very similar. Like Viltrox have 1.2 lenses these days. So like a Viltrox 1.2 is going to look like a full frame 1.8 in terms of blurriness. It also depends on how close your subject is. But in general, it's easier to get a blurrier background for when you're using a full frame camera. Like if you like a 1.4, like say a G Master 1.4 lens, like that's really blurry. So it's hard to replicate that with APS-C. However, like I said, there's 1.2 lenses, which gives you a 1.8, which isn't that much different than a 1.4. Now, Sony does have a couple of 1.2s, but, well, one, right? The 50 millimeter 1.2. But it really depends. Like if you had an APS-C lens that was at 135 millimeters at f2.8, that would look crazy blurry if you were backed up enough to get, like, say, a portrait. And whereas if you took a portrait with an 85 1.8, that 135 2.8 is going to look blurrier. Do you know what I mean? It depends on your distance, your subject's distance. But it's also going to change the shape of the face a little bit. So, you know what I mean? It's a loaded question, but the bottom line is you shouldn't let it determine too much of your purchasing decision, because you can make APS-C look quite blurry. But like if you're just looking for ultimate blur, you best look at the full frames. It's just an easier way to get it. You don't have to go looking for really low f-stop lenses. You can just get 1.8s and there'll be plenty blur. Like this one's 2.8. Look at that, 2.8. Look at this blur here. And now I am sitting, once again, close to the lens. So like the further I back up, you see how it's getting more and more in focus? But I get close to the lens, oh, it'll blur it out. You guys can't even see all the weird stuff I brought. Look at this. This is not even a question, but I'm putting it up there. So handsome. He's talking about me. That's who he's talking about. He's talking about me. All right. Let's see. What would you buy first for video, a monitor or a lens upgrade? Lens, absolutely. You get a fast lens and make do with looking at the the LCD screen, because that'll make. I mean, the audience doesn't care that you're using a monitor, and while the monitor is convenient, it's nothing. Like I'm not using one right now. Look at me, everything's going great. So I would much rather have this nice lens and no monitor than a kit lens and a monitor right now. So yeah, 100%. Okay. I wanted to buy this Sony ZV-E10, but I'm concerned the stabilization is not good enough. The battery life is not very good. Can you give? Battery life is fine. Battery life will last you plenty. It's like an hour and a bit. It's like 80 minutes I usually get in 4K recording. So I have no complaints about the ZV-E10 original battery. It's not bad at all. But the stabilization is not good. And if you are going to go handheld, it's going to be pretty, you're going to see that rolling shutter, that jello effect. And I'm just watching other people take photos and go out and do work. It's all right. We're chatting. We're chatting in here in Santa Barbara, even though it's beautiful outside and I've locked myself in a hotel room. Okay, fine. I'll go soon. All right. But yeah, the stabilization. So if you're going to run around handheld stabilization, I would do what I do, which is use Catalyst Browse, or you get yourself a gimbal, because you aren't going to be very happy with the ZV-E10 if you do a lot of handheld footage and you want nice and smooth footage. So, and even if you use their active stabilization, it crops in a lot and it's still not fantastic. So that is what I would say for that. So something like an A6700 would be a lot better stabilization with the IBIS and stuff, but it's a lot more expensive than the original ZV-E10. So, you know, watch some of my videos on Catalyst Browse, and you know, see if that is something that you think might work for you, and then you might be able to give it. Privyet, brat. I know Privyet means hello in Russian. Brat, I'm assuming, means gorgeous. Hello, gorgeous. Let's see. Have I considered doing drone reviews? Absolutely. But I live in Toronto, and it's really hard to fly a drone without like a cop just parachuting in from the sky and grabbing your drone and saying you can't fly here. So I got the little one from DJI, so the one that's under the weight limit. So I'm going to look for some decent places to fly that, and then I will try to do a review. DJI is so nice. They sent me that drone a while ago, a very long time ago, and I didn't open the package because I kept thinking, where am I going to fly it here in Toronto? But you know what? I think Jason Hermans brought his drone here to Sony Kando. Santa Barbara. And I think he's going to get some drone shots, and maybe that can be my parlay into talking about the you know, the drone footage. Heard any good Sony rumors? Not really. Not really. Honestly, there's not a lot. So we'll see what they announce tomorrow. But maybe it'll be a big surprise, and they've got a bunch of stuff that we don't expect. Let's see. Mark is making it in the YouTube business. Oh my God, you better believe it. I own this hotel now. I just bought it. Making a lot of money. Do you have any thoughts? No. Oh wait, about different kinds of variable NDs? Screw on, press on, magnetic. I do like the magnetic ones, but to be honest, like I got this one here from, what's this, K&F Concept. This one is just a variable ND. Oh, now I got thumbprints all over it. Oh, that's such a jackass. So this is good. Like it's like $60, but there's not much of a color cast at all. I'm sure professional landscape photographers would be like, oh my goodness, what are you doing with a variable ND that's $60? But I do a lot of video work, so I really don't. I end up, for the most part, using a screw-on variable ND, if I'm being honest. The The Freewell magnetic ones, I love those. If I have to be swapping things in and out, you know, like I'm trying to do photos and I want a CPL or something like that, then the magnetic ones are great. And if you use a ton of filters, I think that you'd like the magnetic ones. But I really just use the variable ND so I can get my blurred backgrounds. And because I'm doing a lot of video for this dumb YouTube stuff here at Sony Kando Trip. Hey, Mr. Camera Junkie, look at this guy. He's a moderator. Mr. Camera Junkie, how's my how's the delay? Is it noticeable? Is it awful? What's the best lens for vlogging? Sony 10-18 or Sigma 16? Well, 10-18 is better than the Sigma 16 because you're talking about APS-C lenses. It's cropping in is like 24 millimeters, full frame field of view, and that's without stabilization crop. Got to go 10 to 18. Plus that 10 to 18, the old one from Sony is actually stabilized. So it gives you a little bit more stabilization. So that is right there. Let's see. Do you and Gerald Undone live close together? Can you tell us a little about how that collab happened? Well, Peter, I'll tell you. Peter, what was that? That was Family Guy for a second. Well, Peter. So Gerald doesn't live super close to me. He's like 2.5 hours away, so I had to drive out to see him because he's a princess, all right, who can't come see me. Now, I actually wanted to go to his studio. He just, oof, good. Sorry about shaking the camera, but normally it's on a tripod on the ground and not on a rickety table. So it's just I've gotten to know Gerald a little bit over the last couple of years, and stuff like this, Kando events, is why we show up. Wait, is it time for food? Not yet. So Gerald was like, Mark, everybody loves you, and how can I glom off your fame? And I said, I guess we could do a collab. It was his suggestion. He just said, hey, I'm looking for something we can collab on. What do you think? We just kicked around a couple of ideas. Yeah, I think Gerald, you know, he does his reviews, and sometimes he looks for stuff that's a little bit different. And he also, I think he's a fan of, you know, showing other people, like palling around with other YouTubers, and it creates a little bit. It can get pretty solitary with what we're doing, as I am locked in a hotel room, afraid to go out and talk to everybody else. But it can get pretty solitary, and so I think Gerald makes sure that he continues to see people and hang out. And I thought it was pretty cool of him to do that because I knew that would be a decently interesting video for right? Like he's going to do one himself with me in it coming in September, and I mean that's going to crash and burn. Like that is going to bomb. Like relative to a Gerald video, YouTube they rank your videos 1 to 10 for your last 10 videos. That will be a solid 10, like low, and because his audience likes him, but they're not going to like this jackass sitting around talking nonsense in Gerald's studio. So I appreciate, and I said that to him. I said, you know, my video with you is going to do well, but your video with me is going to be, I'm not going to swear, although I don't think I'm monetized. It's shit. I said shit. So I try not to swear when I'm on YouTube because, you know, sponsors and whatnot. But this is a live stream off the cuff, buddy. What was I saying? So yeah, I told Gerald, I don't think the video with me is going to get a lot of views. And he was like, I don't care about views. And he's sincere. He's just interested in doing what he wants to do. I mean, he tries to give the audience valuable information, but he's not going to stop doing a video. He's not going to cancel a video that he has planned because it might not get the views. Ben, howdy, watching from Texas. All right, let's get a few more. When you have an apple juice, what's the typical ABV? What does ABV mean? What does that mean in beer talk? Does anyone know? ABV. Is it the alcohol blood volition? That can't be right. Let's say if you're talking about percentage, it's usually drink, you know, like a Canadian or a Sam Adams, or it's 5%. It's usually about 5% here. In Canada. So, I mean, sometimes you get those IPAs that are around 7%, but I'm usually sticking to 5% if that's what we're talking about. Although I don't know. Do you think the A7 IV is worth the extra money over the A6700? Well, I mean, if you're trying to be a professional photographer, yeah, I think so, because you have a full frame camera and you have 2 card slots, and it's so when it comes to photography, I think the A7 IV is the best deal for pro photographers in the Sony lineup, because you get still great autofocus, you get 2 card slots, you still have amazing video features to go along with it, and just such sharp photos. I really love the A7 IV. So yeah, I mean, like I own both, but if I had to give one back, I'd probably give back the A6700, even though I do love that small form factor. I'm not giving them back. I'm not playing this game where I have to give up one of my cameras. But here's what I would say: for casual use, maybe not worth the upgrade. But if you want to take, if you're looking at the pro aspect of it, then I think that the A7 IV is a camera that the highest level photographer in the world would gladly pick up and go out and shoot with. It's just got everything that you could need. So I do love it. Mr. Camera Junkie, looks like he's talking to someone in the comments. He uses full frame for photography and APS-C for his video. What do I think the best full frame vlogging lens for Sony? Right now, I gotta say, I like this one, the 16-25. It's small enough, and I was just thinking about taking it off the camera. Clearly, I haven't had enough sleep. I got up at 3:30 in the morning. Let me just take off the lens and show you guys. So, yeah, I really like this. Oh, look at this, guys. It's Tom Bach. Look, Tom Bach. I'm at Sony Kando, Santa Barbara. I'm in Santa Barbara, and Tom, I'm supposed to be out just talking to the other YouTubers and the other creators, but I decided to talk to my camera instead, and they'll never invite me back. But let's see. Any more questions? I really should go. I'll go soon, but still got a nice few people watching. That's nice of you guys. Nice of you guys to stick around. What's this? Thoughts on the used A7R III 900 pounds, or for photo and video until I buy the FX30 next spring's a dedicated video camera. Oh, yeah, I mean, look, that's an A7R III is still an amazing camera. My God, for photos, fantastic. That's a good price, 900 pounds. Yeah, and then, yeah. Yeah, especially if you can keep both. If you can keep the FX30 and the A7R III, and then keep the A7R III for photos, then, yeah. I mean, yeah, I haven't used the A7R III in so long. I don't know about the autofocus, how good it is. The A7R IV, that is definitely got some of the updates in it. But the A7R III, I can't remember. See, somebody else can chime in if you've used an A7R III lately. What's more important, camera, lighting, or the fact that there is no meaning anymore? My God, you nihilist. There's meaning, right? Okay, I mean, I'm in Santa Barbara, and the sun is down. I spent all the good sunlight in here. Darn it. Oh well, what was I gonna do out there anyway? Go swimming? Come on, let's be real. The lighting is the best. The lighting is the most important thing. I'm sitting in front of a window right now. Sunlight is your friend. And most modern cameras are going to look good with lighting. But don't be fooled, you need a nice camera. Like I could stick my iPhone here and I'd have the sunlight and it'd be fine. But if you want like this, if you want things to look a little more, I don't know, cinematic, and you're going to go with, you want a nice camera. But the first thing to do, yeah, is lighting. But the thing is, you can get lighting. You can buy some really nice lights for, under $200. And it's hard to buy a really nice camera under $200. So yeah, definitely work on the lighting. And like I put it this way, a ZV-E10 with great lighting will look better than an FX6 with crappy lighting. And like for real, it's in like with actual lighting. And if you're just going to take the FX6, will look great in really dim conditions and things like that. But you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Let's see. Small rig makes what small rig makes a fan for $70? That thing is insane. Has cooling surface. Looks like the camera cools down rather than just blow air in the camera. I don't know. I haven't tried that one. I didn't know about the small rig one. But this Ulanzi one, top notch. It's going on still. I have no overheat warning, even though I've been, and my wife is calling me. I'm going to have to hang up on her. How do I turn that off? Okay, there we go. Sorry, sweetheart. The viewers are more important. Now I'm going to hang up soon anyway, so I'll just call her in a minute. Decline. I just decline my wife's phone call, and she's probably putting the kids to bed. So now, see, that is more important than going out with these. You got to get your priorities straight, everybody. Schmoozing with YouTubers not as important as talking to your family and your kids at bedtime, even though I'm not doing that because I'm doing a live stream. So do I write your reviews, or is it all off the cuff? Voice and delivery is nice. Well, I'm a smart person. I'm just a natural presenter. Yeah, but I try to write some jot notes out, but I do it off the cuff, but I'm trying to maybe think about scripting them a little more, because sometimes I have to go back and re-record a section I forgot about, or, but I do kind of like off the cuff a little bit. But I tell you what, guys, I'll see one more question, and see if I could go one more question. All right. I'll type Q. Oh, I did it again. I did it again. Q for question. Okay. Okay, I'll go right to the end. And does your wife watch your videos? Someone questioned. This is not going to be the final question. Not really. She kind of did that when I was doing stand-up full time. At first, she watched my stand-up, and then after some years, it was just like, "Oh, you're still doing that thing?" Yeah, look, we're adults with kids. We have no real. We don't have time to be interested in each other's activities. Okay, so this one. For a long-form podcast, would you recommend the E10, E10 II, or A6700? Well, the original E10 actually overheats the least of all those because it has less processing that it needs to do. So if you're just going to set it up and run, I'd probably do the ZV E10. If you're not going to color grade, as weird as that is. And this one's an interesting one. Maybe we should end on this one. The ZV-E10 Mark II or the A6700 for vlogging. That's so strange because the A6700 is better for vlogging. It's got the IBIS in there, so its active stabilization doesn't crop in as much, and it still can do the catalyst browse, so it's a better vlogging camera. But you can definitely make the ZV-E10 II work. And if you want to save that money, you can do that. What I do with it is I put it in active stabilization, usually, and then I just catalyst browse a little bit to smooth out the edges. But yeah, but the truth is, although the A6700 is a tiny bit bigger and heavier, it is a better vlogging camera. And let's leave it right there. Or is that 1625? It's written on screen, Ben. You know that. Look at this. Okay. All right. I said it would last. Okay. Bought a ZV-E10. I'm missing out too much. No, it's still a great camera. Use it until you feel like you can do more. You know what I mean? And how do you know that? Watch my channel and then just follow along. And when you say, hey, I'd like to do some of those fancy things that he's doing, then you upgrade yourself. But at first, let's get that ZV-E10. You can still make Hollywood productions with that thing, man. That is still great. So, okay, thanks for watching. I am going to stop ignoring my children and stop ignoring the fine folks at Sony who brought me here. And yeah, maybe I'll do another one from here. Why not, right? Helps me avoid the human beings. So that was not bad. 50 minutes. We will go talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye. All right. I'm finished. Is it ending? No, I still have the broadcast on. Okay. And